Hey y'all, it's Alec, the traveling civilian. Quick housekeeping thing to get out of the way before I get in today's video. But as many of y'all who've been watching my channel for a little while will notice that my logos and banner have changed. We have changed the name from Road Warrior Prepper to Traveling Civilian. I think that the new name fits more of the way the channel is headed, and also it appears that YouTube is suppressing content about prepping, so I'm trying to get my message out to as many people as possible. And so I think by changing the name we can accomplish that. So how about leave a comment down below and see what you think of the new name, or if you think it should go back, or whatever. So today we're going to talk about how the economy is weighing on people's mental health. And I'm going to tell you what happened over the last 2 days. Well, what happened yesterday while Cindy and I were out running our errands. So as I've said in other videos that, you know, Cindy and I travel the country going from one small town to another, work camping our way across the country. So one of the problems with this lifestyle is when we're in a lot of these small towns, like we are in the Yellowstone area of Montana, and in town they've only got a few small, I call them convenient type grocery stores, where the prices are pretty high and the selection is very minimal. So on one day off every other week, Cindy and I run to one of the big towns that are about an hour and a half away to do our shopping, get our provisions and that sort of stuff. So it was payday, so we also decided to treat ourselves to lunch, do our shopping, and get a little dessert on our way home. So we first ran into the small town we're staying at and got lunch. And I was talking with the gentleman who was serving us, because when we got there, there was nobody to greet us at the as you walk into the restaurant, you know, to be seated and that sort of stuff. And we chose to get lunch out for date night or date day instead of dinner, because usually lunch is less expensive when you eat out than dinner is. So we just went to a sandwich shop to get our lunch. And the server finally came up and seated us, took us to his section, and we sat down and we had dinner. And I was noticing that, you know, usually a server is happy-go-lucky, that type of stuff, because they want you to have a good experience, so they get a better tip. But our server was not that way. So we order and get our meal, and he comes up to bring us our bill so we can pay. And I asked him, I said, "Is everything okay?" He goes, I'm just overworked." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "Well, you know, we got a raise." He says, "You know, minimum wage is going up everywhere, and so we got a little bit of a wage hike and stuff, but now the restaurant has cut the number of employees it has because they can't afford to keep as many employees. And so the employees that are there are making a little bit more money, but their workload has increased, more than doubled, it sounded like. So we gave him a decent little tip and left, and it got me wondering, as we were driving from the Yellowstone area in Montana to Idaho Falls, which is where they have an Albertsons, I believe it was Albertsons, and they have Walmart and a lot of other places we needed to go grocery shopping. So we go to the grocery store, and none of the employees are smiling. There's only one register open at the grocery store, and then there's an employee standing at the self-checkouts, which there's like 8 self-checkouts. And I don't know about you, but I refuse to do the self-checkout thing. So I'm waiting in line for the cashier. We put our stuff up, and she's grumpy, just like the waiter at the restaurant. So I tried talking to her and stuff, and she's complaining about how there's not enough help, that the store is not hiring enough people, and that it was the first of the month and rent was due, and rent keeps going up. I have this curse where everybody tells me their life story, but she just kept on and on and on, and gave me reason to start thinking about what's really going on with our society. Then the last place we stopped is, who doesn't like a good Dairy Queen blizzard? So we were pulled into Dairy Queen, which is just a half a mile down the road from the grocery store. I'll order my wife and I blizzard for our hour and 40 minute ride back to the campground we're staying at. And yeah, they've got the two windows. You go through the drive-through, you order, and then you go to first window to pay, second window to get your order, and then you drive on out. Well, of course, like everywhere recently, the first window's closed. The person at the second window is having to take both your money and give you your order. And they look like they're miserable too. So I start talking to my wife, and then I come home and I start doing some research, and there's article after article after article about how inflation is affecting everyone's mental health, that people feel like they don't have the ability to live the way they used to live. You know, I'm talking to some of my kids. We have 6 children, and they're talking about how it used to be where, you know, you could live by yourself or just one roommate, but rent's gotten so expensive that you have to take on multiple roommates, that, you know, they're eating ramen noodle and cheap food that's not good for you because they can't afford the foods they could afford 3 or 4 years ago. And I didn't really think about how inflation and world views really affect our mental health. But we're having to, as citizens, work harder and harder to be able to buy the same amount or less. And then on top of that, not only is, you know, I noticed this when we were at the grocery store, not only is the price of everything going up to where it's almost unaffordable. You know, so I bought dog food. Used to buy dog food in a 25-pound bag. Well, I buy my dog Science Diet because he's got some skin allergies and stuff. And The dog food now comes in an 18-pound bag instead of a 25-pound bag. You know, you notice when you're looking at your other items you buy for yourself, ice cream is no longer a half gallon. It's like 1.5 quarts. It just seems like the prices are going up and the amount you purchase is going down. I opened a bag of pretzels last night that we bought at the store. I like to eat pretzels for an evening snack. And you open it up. When you open it, the bag is full of air and it's less than half full. So when you open your eyes and start paying attention to these things, you realize that life is not like it used to be. Our government is lying to us about inflation. They're taking out all the stuff from the equation that would raise the inflation number, like home prices, rent, energy, gas, food, I think even medical. And then the companies that we've relied on and trusted are now lying to us, or at least not being honest, by reducing the amount of products they're giving us for a higher price. You put on top of that the way rent prices, gas prices are going up, I can see why people are depressed, why people feel like they're losing the battle, why people feel like they can't make it on their own. People are getting desperate. And I think that's what the government wants. I think the government wants us desperate and wants us to turn to them and to rely on them for everything, for our mental health, for our food, for our living. What do they say? What, the World Economic Forum, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Well, I think they're really trying to implement that. So I do this whole video to let you know that you are not alone. If you can hang around or associate yourself with like-minded people and encourage each other, then we will survive. We will make it through this. Our tyrannical government cannot keep up this pace. There's more of us than there are of them. You know, we need to vote to change our local area, and it will shape the country. But focus on your mental health. Focus on being positive. Focus on taking care of yourself. Focus on helping each other. If you found anything good in this video today, I ask you to like, share, and subscribe. That's something I have not been asking, but I think we really need to get the message out that we are not alone, that as a group, as a collective, we can work together for positive change and the safety and security of our country. Until next time, thank you for watching, and y'all have a good day.